Hello.
Real quick, because we can start over. Now that you're recording, I'm still on the whole half of the screen, but you're widescreen next to me.
Move.
It's interesting. Here, let me see if I can see. So now I moved me to tiny in the corner, and we're both widescreen now. Let me try moving myself back. Now, okay, now it's back to normal. That was weird. Like when you hit record, it like adjusted it or something.
Yeah, mine went weird for a second too.
Okay.
Anywho.
Yeah. Hello, welcome to our channel, Typing for Tater. I'm Alicia.
I'm Laura.
And today we're going to have some very interesting conversation. I have a little bit of wine.
I have a little bit of weed, and we're just going to see where the conversation takes us. Okay, so I have a question for you, and of course I'll respond and give you my side of things as well. Okay. But I have it written down here, and I don't want to be looking down. So here we go. We talk a lot about gender roles, you and me, typically, us being women in relationships and things like that, our roles, and then how we see men as well. So, and we also really make sure to point out our female point of view and how we feel in society or how we were raised and things like that. But the real question is, what do you mean when you use the terms all men, most men, and that's what men do? So take a minute, take a drink. Today's questions brought to you by this joint. I rolled it with my nice raw roller I got at my smoke shop.
Okay, so I will say that to address these 3 points, I don't know if I ever say all men. I think what I say is like, well, men do this or men do that. And when I say that, what I mean is the majority of men, statistically enough, that now I can make a point about it. I as a scientist, I understand there's going to be outliers. Whether I'm talking about a positive thing or a negative thing, I understand. I'm saying like in general terms, this is what men do. Because a lot of that stuff is based on like studies and science. Not even getting into like the details of it. It could be positive, negative, neutral. I would say just in general, when I use that expression, I don't usually say all men. I'll say like men do this or men typically do that, meaning like the majority. For either any of those, like all men, most men, this is what men do.
Yeah, that's why I had different variations. Sorry, I interrupted. But that's why I said different variations, because we don't always use these phrases, but I feel like using the term all men helps understand that phrase is out there, that like people, men specifically, when they hear the phrases most men and that's what men do, I think their mind might go to this place where, one, I'm being attacked, so it's all men. And you froze in a great way just now. So
you were frozen for a second.
Yeah, so you were too. So I don't know what part of the recording it got. But what was the last thing you heard?
Oh, I was just gonna say, so like when I say things like that's what men do, or I might say most men. I mean, that's what I mean. Like this is whatever it is, behavior, an emotional position, whatever it is, it's enough to where I could say based on personal experience, plus typically I'm referencing like a study in my mind, like I've read or something, that most men tend to do whatever it is, X, Y, Z at some points in their life or behave a certain way. And like I said, it doesn't necessarily mean it's negative or positive. And oftentimes, I may not all the time, but sometimes coming at it from that evolutionary perspective, like men tend to be blah, 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 based on evolution, so, it's not always negative or positive. It could just be like I'm explaining something.
Yeah, and I think men, from the standpoint, like I'm not a man, so I don't know, but like just from my experience and seeing like men and how they react when they hear that phrase or they feel like they've been put into a category, I feel as though maybe they they get defensive and they think that that you're saying all men. And I just did that by saying, like, I think maybe they think that, you know? So I feel it's just really interesting because I believe men have the same perceptions of us, but in just different ways and different categories. Sure. So I think it's healthy to talk about the stigmas and what we really mean when we say these terms so that we as women don't seem like we're just picking on them.
Okay. I want to make a point about this. So we've used these expressions like all men, most men, or the majority, or that's what men do. But I will say this is an important addition to that list is enough men. Enough men do something to where we have to be aware of it. And this is what I often meet. I think we're frozen. Oh, wait. Okay. So like, as an example, I was talking to Steven, and we had these conversations. He's like, you don't really like men, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, most men suck, you know? But we were kind of going back and forth, making good points either way, sure. But we were talking about his daughter, who's almost near dating age. And I said, you know, oh, something about her dating. So he's like, that's not going to happen for years and years. And I was like, she's like going through puberty. It's going to happen in the next she'll have her little boyfriends, you know, in the next like 2 years or something, possibly. And he was like, got all kind of like defensive and upset. And I was like, why are you acting that way? He's like, I just know how guys are. And I was like, so you see what I'm saying? Like, if I state a shitty behavior, it's not all of them, but it's enough to where we know it's an issue. Like women, most adult women, like we carry, you know, some kind of weapon in our purse, a knife, mace, something, because we don't know. It happens enough that we have to be vigilant and aware. Whether we're talking about, you know, behavior or what, like I said, you know, positive or negative. Typically, that's what I mean. Enough to where we have to be aware of the situation.
Yes, exactly. I like the phrase enough men, like enough men. And that's polling your whole life. Like, I've met enough men to make this accusation, because that's what it feels like. It feels like an accusation when you say it to the opposite sex, whether it's coming from a man or a woman. When you like, I think that's a good frame of reference, is saying enough men or enough women, like using that in like a healthy way. Like, well, I know enough men. But then it kind of goes into maybe they'll take it sexually, like, oh, how many men do you know?
Right. You know, but also we're really good as women as like in like networking and getting social information from each other. So we might know, like, okay, I know as personal experience of like 5 men, my friend knew 6 men, 7 men, 8 men. We have this network of women in our lives. We're like, okay, I can poll and get like a sample of 100 and know based on my like lifelong experience and those of my friends and family that this has happened, you know, enough to where we can be like, okay, this is clearly a thing that's happened, not just me.
Yeah, it's definitely like data collecting of your own personal experience. You know, so I think it's important to know this. Like, any men who are watching, like, we're not picking on you. We've just had enough situations where this happened, whether positive, negative, you know, could be positive and the reason why we are heterosexual, you know, or bisexual, or we prefer men, you know. Enough is a good word.
Enough. Yeah. I will say though, and we were talking about this earlier, that I think when you make these more generalizations, I think, like I said, it's based on personal experience sometimes. Sometimes it's based on data, but most general population doesn't like read scientific studies. But I think a lot of it is based on like our like network of information from other women. And because women were socialized to be more talkative, to pull more social information out of each other, and men aren't necessarily like evolutionarily conditioned to do that. So they might not have that network of information from other men about women, or it tends to be more superficial and not as like complex. And so I think when we say things like, oh, you know, all men are selfish, as an example, that could be generally true given all the data that we've collected. But when general statements like that, it's typically not based on like that network of information. I would say that that's probably accurate. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel like when women make generalizations, I feel like I can believe them. But when men make generalizations, I feel like your generalization is probably very superficial level, and I don't know if it's
or just like the only women they knew in that way was like their mother or their aunts or their sisters, so they have a skewed view of like, you know, they see all the behind the scenes stuff, and so they're like, oh, I know women, you know, like
no, you don't.
Okay, so take a time out, and you can say some stuff about our channel and all that good stuff. I'm gonna take a little break. I am freezing and I have like nothing, and I heard a noise in my house, so I gotta make sure my children are okay. So I will return.
Okay. Hello, it's just us. What are we going to talk about? Well, hopefully you've watched some of our other videos. We have many. We have a handful on the imperfect foods unboxing. Those are always fun and short. I've done multiple videos on my cancer diagnosis and treatment, very detailed. So if you ever wanted to know like what's chemotherapy like, what's radiation like, what is it like in terms of like the family scenarios going through cancer, I have multiple videos and they're very detailed. What else do we have? We also have a few like this where we're kind of just discussing like, you know, things that we're interested in or being silly and fun. And I think we have one where we, in the split screen, we're trying to do like a high five. That's always fun. I think we did a trivia one. Those ones are fun. I think we'll probably do more of those. And, oh, on the last Imperfect Foods unboxing, Laura's daughter Lorelai did the video with me. She was just visiting, so we did like a video. That was fun. And you know, we're just trying to build the channel and have fun with it. I don't know what to say now. Spotlight is on. Okay, more about our topic. What Laura said about
in a few minutes, try.
And being very diplomatic in her commentary in the initial question. I think that. Oh, she's back.
I'm back. Okay.
Yay.
Alrighty. So, are we going to continue or are we changing it up?
Well, let me just finish the thought I had before you got back. I was about to say something.
Oh, what were you going to say?
I said that I felt you were being very diplomatic in the way you were phrasing our general questions that we started out with, because I feel like here's the thing. Let me see if I can make multiple points at once. Like as adult women in the world, like we have a very specific point of view that's completely valid as making up the majority of the population. And our life experience is valid since it seems to be shared and similar across, you know, women. But I think that there's also this notion that if we have a critique of men, it means we hate men. Yeah. And I think that there is a balance between saying, I think it's okay to say, yes, I have a legitimate, serious critique of the majority of men, and I don't have any problem saying that, versus, okay, also I'm an adult in the world who has to deal with women and men, and I can say clearly I know plenty of men who are good people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but definitely.
I think there's nothing wrong with saying I have a critique about the majority of men in the world, and it doesn't make me a man hater. It makes me observant.
I like that. Oh, the printer just turned on. Sorry, that scared me. I was like, okay, so.
Oh, geez.
Can you hear it? You froze. You're frozen like this.
You were frozen too. You were like, this is you.
Okay. Okay.
I wonder if your Wi-Fi or my Wi-Fi that's being wonky.
It could be like mine. The printer just went off, so somebody printed on the Wi-Fi. You know what I mean? It could have been me glitching. Like, it could be both of us. It could be our phones, like the speed that can't keep up with the internet. Like maybe we got some badass internet. I don't know.
Your kids are trying to like send you a message during the video, so they like send something to the printer. Mom, come help me.
Probably the girls will text me from different rooms if they have their phones. I'm like, I don't care. I'd do the same thing.
Well, texting isn't working. Send her a fax. Oh my God.
I teach my children all about all the old technologies. So Lorelai sent me an email from myself. I don't know how she did that. I was like, I got an email and it looked like it was from me. I was like, what? And I read it and it's like, Mom, where's this? Can I play Minecraft? What? And I wasn't at home. I was like, oh. Myself was talking about my child. I don't know. It was crazy. But anywho, I think it is important to have, like, especially fathers from like a male perspective, like, because you know what it's like to be a man, you should understand why there's a lot of critique going on, because I feel like also being a woman's like, you have to be hyper vigilant about everything, just because you're just like, always gotta protect yourself, so
well, when women are there was a study done on this recently, like college age, like men and women, like they asked, what do you do, like if you leave class late at night or you leave work late at night, what precautions do you take, like walking to your car? And the women all had answers like, I have mace, I put my keys between my fingers, I walk with a friend, da, da, da. And men were like, I don't do anything. Like, it doesn't even cross their mind. And like, it doesn't have to, but like, that's the issue, you know what I mean? And the majority of attacks like that are almost always men attacking women. Not 100% of the time, but enough, like we said, to across the globe understand, like, we need to be hyper vigilant. Did I freeze? Are you frozen? I'm frozen. You're frozen on my end.
I'm not. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You can hear me?
There we go.
But I'm frozen? How am I frozen? Show me your face. Or my face.
It was really good. You were like...
Good, because I was making faces. I'm curious to see what actually records. So that's the fun part of our YouTube and our channel is like, it's like we're live because we got to deal with it, but we have no clue how it's going to turn out. And we can post parts of it. We can post the whole thing. You never know what fun you'll get with our connections.
Right. And we're still learning like the editing process. So a lot of the times we're just like, put the whole fucking video up. Like, you know, we don't even edit out shit. You know?
Exactly.
Like, I'm not going to spend whatever, and we'll figure that out later, you know.
Right. But we're typing. So everyone understands, we were talking before we started recording about how we need to not talk when each other's talking, but it's so natural when we're doing this because we if you don't know, we talk like every day on the phone. We talk, you know, every once in a while on video. We both have like Alexa and Echo or whatever they're called. And, you know, we have all these devices where we're like constantly interacting with each other. So for me to interrupt you is like not a normal. It's like a common, it's a common like thing. It's just, you know, I think I said a normal just now.
I knew what you meant.
She frozen. You frozen.
You were frozen.
Every time
This
you
time
freeze,
you
I'm
froze
just
like
gonna
this.
start doing stuff and
Okay.
see what gets recorded, and then we'll just like come back together.
This time you were frozen. You were like this.
Okay, let's do a game. Let's do a game. Okay. You have your paper?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you a question.
I did not plan this.
Yeah.
Show everyone your color. We both have pink. Pink.
Okay. So, here we go. Let's play a game. I get to ask you a question, and I'm gonna write down what I think your answer would be before I ask you the question, and you do the same, and we'll go one on one. Like one, you do one, I do one, and we will take. You can take a minute right now to write some questions down, and while you do that, I will talk about how we are Thai food for Tater. It's just a brand. It's not anything specific. It's everything. It's like your, you know, I don't know, like your chicken soup for the blank. We're the blank. We're Thai food for Tater. So that's our channel. I think it's important to name drop ourselves early on. Get that name rolling off the lips.
I've got some good questions.
Okay. Give me 1 minute. Or do you want to just ask all of your questions, and then when you're done, you can talk before, and I'll think of mine.
Yeah, I'll just I've written just a couple notes, so I can just start with one. Okay, the first one, your favorite type of food. Favorite type.
Favorite type of food, like burgers, or like Chinese, or like, you know, sushi, or Thai, or Japanese, or Vietnamese. Like, is that what you're?
All the examples you gave are good. Like, I'm thinking a little bit like more larger categories, but I don't want to like bias your answer either.
Okay.
Most of the stuff you said was like kind of how I was thinking. Not your like something like nothing specific like scrambled eggs, but if you were like, oh, breakfast food, like, you know what I mean? I'm thinking more general categories.
Oh, general category. Okay.
Without biasing what you're about to say. I feel I'm pretty confident in this one.
Oh, say the question one more time. Favorite
type of food. I don't want to bias.
That's easy though. That's breakfast. If you're going in general, it's breakfast. It's breakfast food for me all the way. Like breakfast burritos, eggs, biscuits, and gravy. Just the gravy, you know. That's like, I was gonna say that, but you got in my head. You've gotten in my head. If you would have just been like, yeah, I would have been like Thai, because I fuck up some Thai.
Exactly. Yes. Okay. Do you want to ask me one, or do you want me to continue to ask?
I can't even think of a question I would ask you right this second, because I haven't anything down yet. So go ahead and ask me another question.
Who is favorite family member besides me?
I think you said my favorite family member besides you. it's kind of a tie, but for different reasons.
I have two people. I don't know if you're going to say these two people, though.
Okay. Ready? Heather and Betty.
I got Kim and Heather.
Oh, I got one. Yeah. No, I just feel that over the years, I've gotten closer to your mom than I have Kim. But I am really close with Kim. So, and Heather's just like, Heather was like my natural reaction. She's like Heather, but my aunts have kind of juggled between, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay, well, we haven't quite gotten one yet. Okay. Ooh, your favorite movie from the last 10 years, just to make it a little easier. Ooh, I feel like this.
My favorite movie from the last 10 years?
So it has to be like a recent movie. Like, just what's your like gut instinct? What would you say?
Guardians of the Galaxy 2. That's not my favorite movie.
That's mine.
That is not. I'm not gonna lie. I've been like fucking with some Frozen 2 soundtrack lately. I've been like, Jonathan Groff, why do you make me feel weird?
For those of you who don't know, we both have an interesting crush on this man, this actor, for multiple reasons. It's like got subconscious for multiple reasons.
Explain the conversation we had earlier about this. Like, why didn't I get that Frozen 2? I should have known that, but explain what happened this morning.
So earlier I said, hey, you know that guy we were talking about the other day, that actor? Because we had discussed him a couple days ago. And I was like, the guy from Mindhunter. And she was like, oh yeah, the guy who sings in Frozen 2. I was like, yes, the guy from Glee, like the same actor, that guy. I was like, yeah, I had a sex dream about him last night. And she was like, interesting, because I also had a dream about him. And so we were discussing how before we were discussing him the other day, we never would have really thought about him. But she's like, I don't know, something about the way he sings in Frozen 2. She's like, I don't know. Oh my god.
Not the cartoon character. I want to make that very clear.
The actor.
I've been listening to the soundtrack and now imagining this guy in my head, and it's doing things. Okay.
He's a cutie.
Yeah, I guess. But I'm like I was telling you earlier, I'm like not naturally like attracted to him.
Right.
So it's weird that I'm like, why? Why am I feeling like that? Oh my God. Stop singing.
Sing to me.
Okay. Okay. This is a question I asked you before, but I don't think I got it right the first time we played this. So I wrote a different one down, which I feel like it's a dumb question and answer. Like I gave myself an easy A. So,
fine.
Your favorite subject in school as a adolescent?
As an adolescent, I remember you asked me this question before and you got it wrong. I'm going to write the same answer down that I did then.
I think I'm going to be wrong again. Yep, I was wrong again.
So for those of you who don't know, I am a scientist. I'm a paleoanthropologist. I have a great love for science. But when I was like in elementary school and junior high, history was definitely like my favorite.
But to tell you why I pick science is not because she's a scientist now, but because this is going to sound a little mean, I think. When we were younger, history may have been your favorite subject, but you never like shared that, like as far as like what you learned and stuff like that. Whenever we would hang out, you would be like, did you know, and scientific fact. Did you know scientific, like you were just like things you had learned like that day in school, because we always saw each other right after school. So like I just assumed that was like your favorite subject. And it's like it's still in my brain that that's your favorite subject.
Okay. All right.
That's why like remember I'm younger than you, so like how I perceived things and whatnot.
Right.
So like I'm like she just really loves science. So it was like natural you became a scientist. It wasn't like oh I thought you would have been an historian or something, you know. Okay, ready? This is a good one. I wrote 2 answers down, but I put a number 1 and a number 2.
Okay.
Name a Gina Davis movie. Write it down. Don't tell me.
I wrote down 2. I wrote down the one that comes to my mind first, and then the second one that comes to my mind. First
what do you got?
The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Okay. Ready? My number 1. Wait.
Yeah.
I remember watching that movie so much with you.
Obsessed with that movie. It's such a good movie. If you haven't seen it, it's so good.
Okay, what's your second?
Thelma and Louise.
Mine was Leo.
Okay, that would have been like my third. Okay.
Yeah, but I think that one's the one I associate with watching with you, you know what I mean? Or like we've watched it together, you know, that sort of thing.
That's true.
Let's see. Okay, I'm good on time. Sorry, I had to check how my time was doing.
Okay, my turn or your turn? My turn? Ooh, uh-oh. Because I had a couple, but I feel like we've done these ones before.
We'll see if the answers are the same.
Your favorite animal?
What is my favorite animal?
There are many to choose from.
I know.
Ooh, I have another.
Ooh, I do know.
It's gonna be good.
Okay. I don't think that's how you spell it.
Well, if you don't know how to spell it, then we said the wrong thing. I put wolf dog.
Because Aaron's a wolf dog.
For those of you who don't know, there's a really fun party game you can play. It's these 3 main questions. I'll summarize this very quickly. You can ask yourself, you can ask friends. It's really good to ask a potential partner these questions. And you could say those are bullshit, but I think that there's probably a little truth behind these. So you would ask, what's your favorite color and 3 deep reasons why. Your favorite animal and 3 deep reasons why. And then your favorite form or body of water. Like you could say like ice cubes or the ocean. And 3 deep reasons why. And then you give, whoever's at the party or your date or whatever, a moment to write down a sentence or 2 for each. What these things are supposed to reveal is that the 3 deep reasons why about your favorite color is how you kind of view yourself in the world. Your favorite animal and the 3 deep reasons why reveal what you want in a partner, like in a lover or or romantic partner. And then for the favorite form or body of water is how you view yourself sexually. So it's really important, like on a date, to find out like what their favorite animal is and their 3 deep reasons why. Because if they're like, oh, I love peacocks because they're bright and colorful and attack, or something, you might be like, whoa, you know what I mean? I don't know. But like Laura and I both for this question, I remember like I wrote like a dog was my favorite animal, and then the 3 deep reasons why. But like, but you don't know what they mean. You learn this at the end. I was like, oh, I love dogs. They're they're very like comforting emotionally. Like humans and dogs like have evolved alongside each other for a long time, so they really are in tune with your emotions. I love dogs because they're such good cuddlers. You can cuddle. And I forget what my third one was, but I was like, that is true what I want in a lover, like someone who's like comforting, someone who's, what was that?
Loyal.
That was what it was, loyal.
I remembered.
Loyal. Exactly. And I was like, wow, that's like really fitting. And so anyway, so like it's a fun thing to play. I had found this online, and then Laura and I did it with some of her friends at a little get together, and we had a blast. It can be fun and silly. And anyway, so I was like, I think she said wolf dog, because I remember thinking it was me, but it was, I think someone else. Was it at the party? Was it Tasha who said wolf dog?
Most of the men and you were all wolf or dog. Mm-hmm. I was cat. Mm-mm. And it was because they have to earn your trust.
Oh yeah.
It was what was the other things?
They're
independent. And something else. So clearly I don't want to take care of anyone. But I have 3 kids.
Right. Oh, I have a good question for you.
Oh, okay.
We should do this question for each other too. This is a good one.
Okay.
But I'll ask you first. I'm going to try to guess what yours is.
I'm going to write your answer, what I think your answer is, and what my answer is.
What is the animal that you fear the most?
Okay.
So I'm asking you, Laura, and I have my guess. What is the animal that you fear the most? Oh, damn. That's what I put.
Oh, no, I'm not afraid of bears. No.
My second choice for you was some kind of large cat. It was like a cougar or a lion. Damn, I was wrong. Shark. I didn't even think about fucking shark. That's great. Damn it. See, I love in my imagination land animals.
Okay. So the animal I think
are you ready?
Well, we just glitched. We glitched.
Right.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
My most feared animal. What did you think it was? I'll show you what it was. This was mine.
A snake. Whoa!
These things will rip body parts off you. They will rip your face off. They'll rip body parts, if you know what I mean, off. Yes. No, not even close. Secondary, hippo.
I'm not going to like anywhere where they would be, like, ever. I feel like that's not a fear for me because I would never go anywhere that would have those animals. Like at a zoo, they look like they're just chilling. They could still do it. And I understand why you're fearful of it. Just like when there are sharks in an aquarium, I'm like, go. I will wait outside.
And that wasn't even one that entered my mind. Like, and it's crazy because I just watched Jaws the other day. You've seen that, right?
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a good movie.
Oh yeah.
I like Shark Week and stuff because it like builds up a tolerance. It's like, what is that like?
Like your fear tolerance.
Yeah, like what is that called? It's called
like sensitivity.
No, when it's like therapy. It's like when you
Aversion
expose.
therapy,
Yes.
I think.
Like aversion, yeah, aversion therapy, yeah.
Something like that.
Something like
Well,
that.
yeah.
Maybe.
Keep
It's like when
exposing
you like
yourself.
they do it with horses, like to like because things spook them really easily because of their eyes and how they can see.
Division,
So things are like spook them easily, so that like they like will put that thing, like say it was like a shovel or a rake, they'll put it like near their skin and they'll slowly bring it to them so that they're like, you don't have to be afraid of it. You're a huge horse. You have nothing to be afraid of. You know, so yes, I need that. Like that's what Shark Week is for me. Like when all those like shark attacks were happening, because everyone was indoors because of COVID, I was living my nightmare/dream, meaning that's something I fear a lot. But at the same time, all these shark attacks were happening, and the evil little person inside of me was like, "Ooh, what happened?" I think I'm ready to go because my house seems a little too quiet.
Oh, y'all, it's suspicious.
Very suspicious.
Okay.
All right. I'll if I can do more, I'll call you back later. I don't know what your plan is.
Got to do some like emails and that kind of thing. So I'll be in the office probably or around.
All right. It's been a pleasure. Thai food for Tater.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. My hair looks so short. I'm sorry. I just noticed that. Like my hair's been behind me the whole time and it looked all like fluffy, like I had cut my hair. I'm like, dang, my hair looks so short. I'm like, it's got this like little extra like going on. Like, sorry. Like and subscribe. I'm Laura.
I'm Alicia.
Good day. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye.